You have absolutely no idea. And I mean that in the most literal sense possible. The version of this that exists in your head, whatever you've allowed yourself to believe about how this person feels about you, whatever estimate you've made of where you sit in their mind and their heart and their daily experience, it is not even close to the reality. Not because you've overestimated it, because you have underestimated it so significantly that when I tell you what I'm actually seeing in the energy around your connection right now, some part of you is going to resist it, is going to say, that can't be right. That's too much. People don't feel that way. They do, Virgo. This one does. About you. Right now. I'm not going to ease into this because the energy doesn't have that kind of patience today. What I felt the moment I connected to your frequency was immediate and specific and so concentrated that it stopped me completely before I touched a single thing. Because what is present in the field around you, what is being directed at you from someone in your life with an intensity that I want to describe carefully so you actually understand the scale of it, is not ordinary feeling, is not the comfortable, manageable, keeps itself at a reasonable temperature kind of caring that most connections produce. This is obsession in the truest and most consuming sense of the word. This is someone for whom you have become the thing their mind returns to, regardless of where they try to direct it, regardless of what else is happening, regardless of how much time passes or how much distance sits between you. You are there constantly, in the background of everything and in the foreground of the quiet moments when there is nothing else to hide behind. And underneath the obsession holding it up, giving it its particular weight and texture, is love, real love, the kind that doesn't arrive quickly and doesn't leave easily and doesn't exist on the surface of a person, but in the deep interior places where the things that are actually true about what someone feels live permanently. This person is madly in love with you. Before we go deeper, if something just moved in your chest, if something that has been uncertain suddenly feels less uncertain, if a face appeared in your mind before I even finished that sentence and your body responded to that face in a way you couldn't fully control, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop the words "I had no idea" in the comments right now, because that is the theme of everything I'm about to show you. The gap between what you've allowed yourself to believe and what is actually true. Let's close that gap. Let me describe what obsession looks like from the inside of the person experiencing it. Because I think when you understand what their interior experience actually is, what their daily reality actually feels like from where they're standing, it will change something in how you understand everything that has happened and everything that is coming. They wake up and you are already there, not because they decided to think about you, because you arrived before the decision was available, before the day has properly started, before the managed, organized, functional version of themselves has fully assembled. You are present, a thought, a feeling, the specific quality of missing someone that sits differently from ordinary missing because it is attached to someone who feels irreplaceable rather than simply absent. They move through their day and you surface in it repeatedly, in moments that have no obvious connection to you, in a song, in something someone says, in a view from a window, in the specific quality of a late afternoon light that reminds them of something, a moment with you, a feeling they had near you, an image of you that lives in them with a permanence that surprises them every time they encounter it. You keep arriving uninvited into the ordinary moments of their life and making those moments feel like they contain a message they haven't yet decoded. They pick up their phone and put it down, pick it up and put it down, draft something and delete it, start a message and stop. Not because they don't know what they want to say, because they know too well what they want to say and the weight of it, the realness of it, the vulnerability of saying something that true out loud and in permanent form keeps stopping them at the threshold. This is not someone who is casually interested. This is someone who is consumed, who has tried, possibly to be less consumed. Because being this consumed by someone without knowing clearly where you stand with them is its own specific and exhausting kind of pain, and has found that trying doesn't work. That you are not a feeling they can manage into something more comfortable by applying enough discipline to it. You are simply there in them constantly with an insistence that they have stopped trying to argue with because the argument was never going to work. Now, I want to tell you something about why you don't know this. Why the version you've been walking around with, the one where you're not sure exactly how deep this goes, where you've kept a protective uncertainty around how significant you are to this person, is so far from the actual reality. It is not because they have been dishonest with you, not exactly. It is because what they feel is so much larger than what they have known how to express, that everything they have expressed has been a fraction of it. A manageable, transmittable, won't overwhelm you fraction of something that in its full form is overwhelming even to them. People do this. When feeling exceeds the available language for it, when what is true internally has a scale that feels impossible to convey without either terrifying the other person or making yourself completely vulnerable in a way that has no guarantee of safety. People transmit the portion that feels communicable and hold the rest privately, and the person receiving only the communicable portion builds their understanding of the connection from that portion and arrives at an estimate that is accurate to what was shared and completely inaccurate to what actually exists. That is what has happened here. What was shared with you was real, was genuine, was not performance or strategy or a carefully calculated portion designed to keep you interested without giving you too much. It was simply the part that they knew how to bring out of themselves and put in front of you without the whole thing collapsing under its own weight. The part that wasn't shared the full depth, the specific intensity, the degree to which you exist in them as a permanent and non negotiable presence that has been living in them quietly, building rather than diminishing, becoming more rather than less with every day that passes. And it is becoming impossible to contain. That impossibility is what I feel most strongly in the energy right now. The specific pressure of something that has reached the limit of how long it can stay interior, how long it can stay managed and private and expressed only in the fraction that felt safe to share. Something is about to give, not in a breaking sense, in the releasing sense. The way water that has been held back finds its level eventually not through force, but through the simple inevitability of pressure exceeding containment. What this person feels for you has exceeded the containment. And what happens when feeling exceeds containment is not explosion, it is honesty. It is the specific relief of finally letting something be as large as it actually is, rather than keeping it compressed into something more manageable. The honesty is coming. And I want to prepare you for the quality of it because it is going to arrive with more force than you are expecting. Not aggressive force, emotional force, the specific weight of something true being said by someone who has been carrying it for a long time and is finally setting it down. When you receive it in whatever form it takes, whatever channel it comes through, whatever ordinary moment it arrives in the middle of it, is going to land somewhere very deep, in a place that has been waiting for exactly this. That recognizes it immediately, not because it is what you hope to hear, but because it is what you somehow always knew on the level where the truest things are known before they are confirmed. Let it land. Don't deflect it. Don't immediately begin managing your response or calculating what the appropriate reaction is or protecting yourself from the vulnerability of being fully seen, receiving something this significant. Let it reach you all the way in the full depth of what it is. You have waited for something real. This is real. Let it be as real as it is. I want to speak to the version of you that has been quietly, privately wondering, not the version you show the world, not the one who is moving through the days with reasonable composure, not giving too much away, not letting anyone fully see the particular quality of hope mixed with uncertainty that has been the interior weather of your experience lately. The private version, the one in the quiet moments, the one who has asked themselves more than once in the specific honesty that only exists when no one is watching, does this person actually feel what I feel? Is this as real for them as it is for me? Or am I in something alone that I've been telling myself is shared? I want to answer that question directly. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone in this. The feeling has always been mutual more than mutual, which is the part you didn't know. The specific fear that you've been carrying, that the depth of what you feel might not be matched on the other side, has never had a basis in the actual reality of what exists between you. It was a fear constructed from insufficient information, from the gap between what was felt and what was expressed, from the portion that was shared not being complete enough to show you the full picture. The full picture is this: someone who thinks about you constantly, who carries you in them as a presence that has become inseparable from their own interior experience, who is in love with you in the specific, deep, doesn't go away, tried to manage it and couldn't way that produces the kind of love that actually changes someone's life rather than simply passing through it. That is what exists on the other side of this connection. That is what has always existed there. And you are about to know it in a way that removes the uncertainty permanently. Here is what I need you to do with what I've just told you. Not a list. One thing. Stop making yourself smaller than the love that exists for you. Because I feel it in your energy, the particular habit of occupying less space than you're actually given, of assuming that what you're receiving is proportional to what exists rather than understanding that what you're receiving has always been a fraction of what exists, of calibrating your sense of your own significance in this connection to the portion that was expressed rather than the reality that was felt. The reality is larger than the expression, significantly. And now that the expression is about to expand, now that what has been held is about to be released, I want you to be ready to receive the full size of it. Not to minimize it into something more comfortable, not to find the reasons it can't be as significant as it is, to simply let it be what it is. You are someone worth being obsessed over, Virgo. Worth the kind of love that doesn't leave, regardless of time or distance or the particular difficulty of feeling something this large without knowing if it will be received. Worth the daily thinking of, the constant returning to, the carrying of your presence as something permanent and irreplaceable. You have always been worth that. And someone who knows it better than you do is on their way to making sure you finally know it too. Come back and tell me in the comments what this opened in you. Tell me what you felt when the full scale of it landed. Tell me whose face was in your mind from the first sentence. Because your words, your truth, showing up in the comments is what makes this work worth doing. Subscribe to stay in the energy, and I will see you when the next thing moves.